Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central. And here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another fantastic episode of Foxborough Central. I am your host, Bob Hickey, joined by many people, and I'm so glad that you have taken the time to join me and my guests as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. Now, when we talk about organizations, sometimes there's a bigger picture, and for the cultural councils that dot our individual towns, the Massachusetts Cultural Council is a funding organization or an agency of state government that provides funding to the localities. They can distribute it as they see fit, and then that is funneled down to the different groups and nonprofit organizations and to promote cultural. Why am I babbling? Because I don't know. But we do have some people here that do know. We have members of the Foxborough Cultural Council, adult members, and student representatives. So we've got quite the guest list here today. Why don't we go around the table, and I'm just going to say hi, and we'll just chat a little bit. I'm going to go to Neela first. All right. See how I did that? Pretty cool. Hi, Neela. I'm Bob. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
And who are you?
I'm Nilfa Rodericks. I've lived in Foxborough now for over 14 years. Love this town. Came here. Don't want to leave.
Well, that's a good thing, right?
Yes.
Now, and I know that we've seen your daughter at the theater performing. So, how did you get involved with the Cultural Council?
So I've been part of the Moms Club for a long time, and one of the members in the Moms Club, who happens to be a dad, Jared, actually introduced me to it. I'd never heard of it before, which is really odd because I'm in the community and I'm part of the community and love to be part of it.
Jared Craig, who of course
Yes.
is the vice chairman.
He's my co-chair.
Yes, co-chair. Yes.
So he introduced me to it and he said that I could be a good part of it and help with sparkle some creativity, some wonder in the community. So I'd love that, and that's the reason that I decided to come and become part of it.
Well, now the deep question is, was that true? Was Jared spinning you a tale, or was he accurate?
No, so even with my first couple of meetings with the council, it's amazing how much they do with just the little amount of resources that they have. Mm-hmm. The ability for a small group of people to be able to reach to these different parts of the community with different programs, arts, covering nature, covering a lot of things. It's pretty amazing.
Yes, and for those people who don't know, the Cultural Council is a committee of the town, and it's made up of volunteers. Mm-hmm. Nobody's paid, right? I didn't think so. You're not paid, are you? No, okay. So, and then people that want to join pretty much find out about it, and then they apply. So, and Beth Frensick, who is also my neighbor, it's good to meet you again here.
Thank you.
And how did you become involved with the Cultural Council?
I am the president of the board at the Doolittle Home, and we were lucky enough to receive a grant from the Cultural Council allowing us to have the Foxborough Jazz Band play for us. And actually, I do believe it's been 3 or 4 years, and it's a wonderful opportunity to bring the inside out. We invite the community, family members, and we use the wonderful garden. Mm-hmm, so it's terrific it's really, music is universal for everyone. So I think it's something that from tiny little kids all the way up, we all enjoy it. So it's terrific.
And I love talking about the Doolittle Home. Been featured on this program a couple times. It's a nonprofit organization. It's a nursing home here in Foxborough. They seem to have a special certain something that makes them part of the community. And this is their outreach piece of it, to share and show that we're neighbors, we're not at home.
Correct.
And that the people who live here are your neighbors also. And so essentially, and I think it just happened not too long ago, you had this year's concert.
Yes.
And how did that go?
Actually, Sunday afternoon we had it. It was wonderful. We had family members, people from the community. It was terrific.
And everybody had a good time.
Everybody had a wonderful time.
So now the key question is, if the Cultural Council wasn't around and there wasn't this funding source available, would the Doolittle have been able to afford to have this?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
So,
I mean, we are a nonprofit, so we rely on grants and people's generosity to have such programs.
It fills a pretty significant role then.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Great, and it's something that not only is it nice to do, but I think it's so important also for the population you serve, but as well as for the community to understand that it's not just a place that we don't see or talk about.
Oh,
It's
not
part of
at
our
all.
community. It's part of who we are. And our friends and neighbors live there.
Absolutely. I mean, I've lived on Baker Street 63 plus years, and I've grown up with the Doolittle home. I don't think I really understood it until my father became a resident there. And at that point, 14 years ago, I got very involved with the home. And it's a very, very special place, very near and dear to my heart. So we're very grateful to the the Arts Council for having granted us this, and it's been a wonderful thing.
And it's just the kind of program that we like to fund because it's intergenerational. It's not just benefiting the residents, it's also the community members who attend. And
Right.
music is at the heart of it, which is something
Oh,
near
it's
and dear to
wonderful.
my heart as well.
Right.
And that is a great way to introduce us to Pam. Pam and Tanasoff, how are you
Hi,
doing? So good to have you
Bob.
back again.
Yes, thanks
here on
for
the
having us
program.
back. I brought some friends with
Well,
me
I
this
can
time.
see. Well, I'll turn my head and go that way in a little bit, but you are the co-chairman
I am,
of the Foxborough
yes.
Cultural Council.
Yeah, I'm the co-chair of the Cultural Council. This is my 3rd year as a member. And I think I read a post on Facebook, and that's how I got involved.
Really?
They were looking for new members, and once I got involved, it was at a time when there was a lot of turnover in membership. So
It seems like it has a whole new flavor and feel. So,
Yeah.
as with every organization, sometimes new leadership comes in, new
Mm-hmm.
ideas are brought to the table, and it seems like that's what's happened here.
Exactly. Well, you can only serve for 6 years, and then you need to step down. So that brings a fresh perspective every few years.
Which means there's always a need for new volunteers.
Exactly.
Which
yes.
means, since you mentioned Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. If you are interested in learning more about the Foxborough Cultural Council, you can be their friend on Facebook. You go to Facebook and you type in Foxborough Cultural Council, and it'll pop up. It's really easy. You know how to do this. But they also have a website. It's part of the town of Foxborough, as I said. You can go to the townfoxborough.ma.website, and you can click on the link to get to their committee, or you can go to the Mass Cultural Council, which is part of the state website, and you can drop down box to Foxborough. You can find Foxborough.
Exactly.
You're easy to get a hold of.
We're easy to get a hold of, for sure.
I'm
yes.
a theater. I know how to get a hold of you. I can do that. So you've been on the board now for 3 years, you say?
I've been on the Cultural Council for 3 years and on the board for 2. Yes.
Okay. So as the chair of the Culture Council, what I'd
Yeah.
like to do is, you're in here last year talking about things that were going to happen in 2018. Well, now we have gone through that cycle. We're almost up in the next cycle. So what are some of the successes you feel have happened in 2017, 2018?
Well, successes were being able to fund 14 different programs: theater, nature, fine art, music in our community and in surrounding communities, and benefiting a wide range of people. We also did a community input survey. That started probably around the time I sat down with you last year. So then when we had our grant cycle last fall, we were able to really tap into what community members were saying they'd like for us to fund and really reflect that in our decision-making process.
What do people really want to see?
Number one was music.
Music is a good thing.
And I think families and the whole community. And something interesting too that I wanted to mention that just started with this this past grant cycle is that people will now receive the money up front. So we volunteered and were part of a pilot program. There was the thought that people really need seed money to get their projects off the ground.
Isn't that
so
interesting?
if they're able to just have the money and know what they're working with, then they can go forward with their theater production, with their fine art project, with their nature project.
And you mentioned that, and I, full disclosure, the Orpheum Theater with the Maryland Robin Performing Arts Center, a number of the groups that are in our place have taken advantage and have applied and been awarded grants. So thanks in a one-off way for all of that you do to support the arts here in Foxborough.
And we appreciate having a venue in town because that's a key issue for grant recipients. Where are they going to stage or show their art? And it has to be all accessible. That's really important. All people of different abilities need to be able to get into the building, and the Performing Arts Center is one of the few venues in town that is meets that need.
Well,
yeah.
And then there's other organizations that provide funding, but they're not government related, correct? The Partners of Patriotism come to mind, but
Right.
you're really the clearinghouse for the Commonwealth's giving arm, correct?
Exactly. In our town, we have usually about $5,000 a year to grant to people, and what's often been said to us is that we do a little with a lot, and we're really proud of that, that we can make it go a long way, that 14 grants totaling $5,000 can really get a lot of things going in our community.
So you spent it all, huh?
We spent it all. We
right.
actually have to. If we don't spend it all, then we might get less the following year.
Use it or lose it.
Use it or lose it.
I love government.
Exactly.
So I'm here talking with Neela, Beth, and Pam with the Foxborough Cultural Council on your right, my left. But we have some other people here.
We do.
Who are they and why are they here?
Well, we have our student representatives. A few years ago, we thought it would be great to get the perspective and the contributions of a student in our community. And Katie Burke was our first student representative 2 years ago, right around the time that I became a co-chair, not a coincidence. And Jared became a co-chair as well. Also not a coincidence. And Katie is graduating, so we put the word out that we'd like for some new student reps to join us. We can use their ideas. We can also use their perspective when it comes time to review the grant applications that come in. What do the young people in our community want to see happen here, and where do they want to see those funds go? So they can't vote because they're not 18, but they can contribute their opinions and their thoughts to our process.
Okay, excellent. So we'll start over here with my new friend, Sebastian Ricketts. Sebastian, nice to meet you.
Of course, nice to meet you as well.
Nice to meet you. So what got you interested in being a student rep on the Foxborough Cultural Council? Because government's boring and it's dull and there's never anything fun. And why are you doing this, man? Come on.
You know,
It's just you and me talking.
Of course. That's a good question. I've actually considered, when I first got the email from my chemistry teacher, Mrs. Borges, saying that they were looking for new participants.
The chemistry teacher is recruiting for the Cultural Council. I love Foxborough. This is a phenomenal time. Did the chemistry teacher recruit you too? Really?
Yeah.
How about you?
No, my AP Bio teacher did.
We were looking for people involved in the sciences because it's actually arts and sciences.
How interesting.
Yes,
Okay.
and that's where we don't have a lot of grant applications coming in. So we are hoping that they will help get the word out into our community that we need more applications around the sciences and around nature.
Interesting. Okay. So your chem teacher reached out,
Of course.
put the arm on you, and now here you are. So what are we doing?
You know, I really joined this organization as a whole because I really felt the need to enrich my community. I felt that Foxborough as a whole is a great town, but it lacks stuff compared to other towns, I feel. And I feel like it's improved a lot over the past years. I moved up here from Tennessee when I was 6, so I've lived here for almost 11, 12 years now, and I've really seen it grow as a community.
2/3 of your life.
Exactly. And I've really seen it grow since then, and I felt like I had to give back in some way, and so I thought by joining this, I could, one way to achieve that.
Okay. Excellent. So when you move here when you're 6, it's almost just as good as having been born here. So you're a Foxborough person.
Yep.
So what grade are you in?
I'm a 10th grader going into 11th now.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. So
mature?
I was just going to say, I thought we were a senior here graduating off the college. So if that's the case, then what are you thinking that you're going to be able to accomplish on the Cultural Council? We all have to have goals and objectives, right?
Of course.
So,
Well, as Pam was saying, just getting the word out there and spreading all throughout the community. I know that Pat's Place has this sidewalk drawing competition and stuff like that, and I thought that'd be a good idea to kind of bring that into Foxborough, maybe have similar ideas, possibly on Founders Day, have like a competition on the booth somewhere or some good idea that just would bring the community together as a whole.
well, the Art Association and Ms. Arcacia up at the school, they're always so positive about that. So what an interesting idea, what an interesting take.
Yeah, of course.
Who knows? Of course, I like this confidence. He's a good kid. Are you as confident?
Hopefully.
Hopefully. And of course, here's Sasha Hussein. Nice to
Yes,
meet you.
nice to meet you too.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So you were recruited by the bio teacher.
Yes, I was.
All right. And when the bio teacher calls you up and says, "Hey, Sasha, guess what? I
Yeah.
have a need." what pitch did she give? What was the word?
So actually, Katie Burke was sitting right, and she sits next to me. She was sitting next to me in bio, and
Katie Burke is everywhere. We're going to have a Katie Burke Day here.
So she informed me all about what the Foxborough Culture Council does, and she told me about how they give grants out and how they support arts around Foxborough, and I thought it was a great idea, and I wanted to get more involved in my community, so I accepted my invitation to become a student representative.
All right. So now when you see Katie in the halls, do you come up to her and say, that wasn't exactly the way it was, or you say, oh, Katie, and give her a hug and say, this is fantastic, thank you for getting me involved.
Yeah, seriously, I thank Katie for informing me about this program, and I don't regret joining.
Okay. Well, goals and objectives, what do you hope to accomplish?
So I hope to, like Sebastian said, inform everyone in Foxborough about what the FCC does, because I know that I didn't know that Foxborough had a cultural council. I didn't really know what they did. So I want to spread the word out and maybe get some more funding for the high school and the younger students.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So is that something that the Cultural Council would do if a high school student had a project that they wanted to do in the common, or I'm not even going to pretend to guess what they want to do, but is that something that you'd be open for?
So we have to review our local priorities and see how much money we have to give out, and we have to vote. So it's not something that Pam or Nilo unilaterally decides. We vote as a council.
Oh, come on, you can tell me the truth.
We're actually prohibited from discussing, even with our own spouses, before the voting.
I see.
Just so that it can be totally objective.
So it's a legitimate process. People apply. Is there a form?
There is a form. People can now apply electronically, and we'll make sure to get things up on our Facebook page so that people will be able to apply that way.
In that form, it's an electronic form. It's actually through the state, and it's a drop-down box. So
Exactly.
it's a very fair, and it's a very streamlined but easy. It was a very easy form to fill out. So a lot of credit to whoever the designer is. It gives you the information you need, but it doesn't make you jump through too many hoops.
It also allows people actually to apply to more than one council at a time. So if their program or project will have reach in different towns, they could apply to other LCCs, local cultural councils, as well. And do you mind if I just briefly mention something Nilo and I were talking about for September? Did you want to?
Yeah, so we were thinking that we might try to do something which will help applicants with the grant process. So maybe we'd have a session just to help them fill out the application forms.
Oh, okay.
Because we feel like that might be a hindrance where people don't know where to go, how to go about doing it. And
So
that
an
would be,
information night or a presentation.
yeah, so it all
interesting.
starts in September. So September 1st is really when the applications are available online, and the deadline is October 15th for this year.
Okay.
So somewhere in the middle of September, maybe early October, we could look at doing something like that.
Oh, interesting. Okay, great. Amy.
Yep.
Trino, how are you doing?
I'm good. How
Nice
are you?
to meet you. I'm
Nice
doing
to
great.
Meet you.
I thought I forgot about you. Never. So how did you get involved? You the chemistry teacher?
Yeah, the same chemistry teacher.
Chemistry's winning 2-1 over bio. She's got to pick up her game a little bit. So how did you get involved?
So yeah, I got the same email. Unfortunately, I didn't have Katie Burke sitting next to me, so I didn't know as much, but I still came to the first meeting. And actually we didn't come to a meeting at first. We weren't officially members at that point, but Pam just wanted us to be able to get involved as soon as possible. So we went to the session where they awarded the grants, and we got to see all these people who they had got given this money to start their programs, and it was actually really special to see, because you see firsthand what the cultural council is doing, and they're really helping these people start these programs, and you can see that it's making a difference in Foxborough.
It does make a difference, and I guess part of what the purpose of having the younger generation is to increase that reach. So what story do you tell back at the school or with groups? I mean, who do you meet that's really creative or wanting to do something? Do you meet anybody like that? Do you share the story? How do you do that?
Oh yeah, especially the art department in Foxborough, they're really very inclusive, and there are people who like expressing, and there are so many different cultures in Foxborough. And I know the Cultural Council had a booth at the language and cultural night.
Oh, really?
And I think it is really important just to let these kids know, because I know we didn't, and it is important to let them know, because as Pam said, like, they're trying to make it more intergenerational, and that includes all these young kids in high school. So just being able to get the word out to them that this
Well, spreading the
council
word out
exists.
is important, and I suppose, I guess it can go be said officially to you three are phenomenal ambassadors, it would appear, and not only participating, but then spreading the word back to the schools. So great. It's 2018 already. 2019 budget cycle is in the works. So as we jump into 2019, is it time to start applying again? You mentioned about the information night. So that's going to be coming up at some point to be publicized, I'm sure. And you'll share it on Facebook. Be their friend. Check them out on Facebook. Foxborough Cultural Council. They like friends. Also through the town of Foxborough, you click on the councils tab and you can pick up their direct link, or you can go to the Mass Cultural Council. Google them. They're not hard to find. So the cycle's coming up, 2019 awards. What do I do?
This is
I
actually,
want to start something.
this is a really good time to start thinking about your project. So you do need to have secured a venue. That's one of our requirements.
Okay.
You do need to have some support from an agency in the community that definitely helps.
Now, is that like a sponsor or just somebody to partner with?
It's somebody to partner with, and that's so that the Cultural Council in Foxborough knows that this person has put the effort into building a relationship with the Council on Aging, with the Foxborough High School, with the elementary schools, just kind of vouching for them in a way. Yes.
Okay, that's a great thing to know, so that when you're vetting, you're telling people right up front, this is what we're looking for as we're making the awards.
Right. In a sense, you're doing a little bit of research ahead of time. Filling out the application, in a way, is the easiest part. It's that you've made sure ahead of time that you know where it's going to happen, that you have the details, that your plan is fleshed out, and a more complete application is much more likely to get approved. And it also needs to meet with the local cultural council guidelines, which are listed on our page on the website. So we'll try to make sure that the Facebook has a lot of info about that as the grant cycle opening approaches.
So as a recipient, I'll ask the question, how difficult is the process from a customer standpoint?
Not at all. Not at all difficult. I mean, the whole thing was wonderful. And it was so terrific to see the students from the high school come, and very much encourage other people to apply and reap the benefits of it.
So not a lot of red tape, not a lot of hoops to jump through?
No. User-friendly.
Excellent.
It was great.
So Neela, as a member of this committee and co-treasurer, congratulations on that fine position. I know many people probably wanted the job, but you
I fought
you
for it.
persevered, you rose to the top. So as a city member, what are the strengths of the committee, I guess I should say? What makes you feel good going to bed at night after a meeting that you've done?
What's really nice to see about the committee is everyone's so involved. Like, you can send out an email at 10 o'clock in the night and you will get a response at 10:05. And everyone.
That's just me.
So it's an active committee.
It is very active.
It's not
yes.
one where you just sign up and you are a member and you get appointed by the selectmen, and then once a year you get together and go through some pages.
And everybody has their strengths. We have some really creative people which can create all these wonderful things that they did for the high school, for the cultural night, where they had these chocolates with really nice artsy sayings on them. It was a hit with the
That was Julie Philibert and Marcia Felix,
Yep. So
graphic
they-
designer. Yeah.
Okay.
with the small group, they pack a punch.
Excellent. So the 2019 cycle, what is the deadline again? To get applications in by?
October 15th, I
Yeah,
believe.
October
Yes.
15th. yeah.
Okay. But people shouldn't wait till then.
No, they shouldn't, because they really, like I said, need to have all the pieces put together before they sit down to fill out the easy form.
We are going to go around the table real quickly, and then I'm going to let Pam have the last word. I'm going to remind everybody, because we're so close to being out of time, I'm going to remind everybody at home to be their friend, the Foxborough Cultural Council, the FCC, on Facebook. That's the best way to get all the updates, get on the news feed. You can see all the good stuff that's happening. Check them out on the website, go to the Town of Foxborough site, and then click on the council. Or you can go to the Mass Cultural Council, and that's how you get to the drop-down box, and there's Foxborough right in front of you. So, Sebastian.
Of course, what's up?
Of course, what's up? This guy is so chill. I like him. I like him. Hey, so, just hanging out. So what in 2019 do you think is going to be the biggest accomplishment if the three of you can make something happen out there?
For us, because we're still not able to vote, I think the biggest accomplishment for us would be just to get our voice to the committee as a whole and show them what we as a younger generation or as a younger people coming up who will be able to vote soon if we choose to stay members, just to get our voice out there and show that what the people want is what the people want.
Okay. Sasha, what do the people want? Come on, you got to know.
I think, like Sebastian said, I think we need to get a lot more younger voices into it and incorporate younger generations. And I think the Foxborough Cultural Council is doing a great job of that, and I think we can do more.
Okay. What more do you want to do?
Well, I think Foxborough is a big fan of theater and music and a lot of that, and just being able to support students who are coming up with these ideas and programs and being able to nourish their ideas.
And you like the arts?
Yeah.
All right. So, Neela and Beth, it's always great talking to you. We are so out of time. I'm just going to kick it over to Pam, and we're going to get the last word.
Oh my goodness. Well, I guess really just for people to consider applying for a grant. It's not a given that if someone has received a grant in the past that they'll receive again and again. We do really like to give different groups an opportunity to experience some support and funding. So everybody has an equal shot, and we encourage everyone to apply.
Fantastic. Well, on behalf of the Foxborough Cultural Council, the student reps, the reps, and a customer, Beth and Doolittle Home, I want to thank you for joining us here on Foxborough Central. Of course, learn more about the Cultural Council on Facebook. If you missed any part of this program, check us back out again and get all this information one more time by logging on to www.fcatv.org. Click on the Foxborough Central button, and you'll see us all over again. On behalf of all the volunteers here at Foxborough Central, thank you for joining us, particularly Ryan Reynolds and Paul Beck, who have done the production work on this, Deb Storrs behind the camera, and Tyler Scharfman, who is our wonderful editor. On behalf of all those folks, have a great day, Foxborough. Take care.